Hello and welcome
Hello.
to the show. Daniel is here again. It's amazing.
Hi-yo.
He's been in 2 videos this week. It's
This is
a
going
miracle.
well.
Yeah, things are going sort of ish to plan. Anyway, today's challenge, I saw this, it was a comment on a video, and I can't remember what video it was, but I really liked the idea. And that is, we are going to try and build some budget V8 supercars. Now, V8 supercars are very expensive, and they're very fast as well. They cost, was it 1 million credits, I think?
Yeah, 1 million credits, yeah.
Which is quite a lot. It will
quite
take
a lot
quite
of
a while
money.
to earn that. Yeah, it'll take a while to earn that sort of money. So the challenge for us today is to build a V8 supercar, if you like, on a budget. Now, we're not going to try and make it as fast as a V8 supercar, because that's going to be very, very expensive to do that. Also, it'd be quite hard. Because V8 supercars are very fast. So we are going to stick with B class as the sort of target class, rather than just sort of say build the fastest car within a certain budget, because then it becomes all unbalanced. We're going to say it's B class for as little money as you can. It must have a V8 engine, of course. With all the fancy engine swaps, it doesn't have to have a V8 engine as standard, so we can plonk in an engine conversion, which is what I did for my first car. This is a Ford Escort Cosworth. It has, I'm going to hazard a guess that it's probably the Mustang V8 that powers this thing.
Is it a 5.7 litre?
I think it is. Yeah.
I think it's a generic engine.
I think it's just a generic V8 engine that went into this one. The engines are quite expensive though, but they are very expensive on here. The car itself cost 26,000 credits. The engine cost 26,000 credits. That's quite a big chunk of money already spent before you even do anything. Yeah, it's a lot. I may slightly have brushed the wall there.
Yeah,
it's the most common place that we had any mistakes on there. I got it quite sideways as well. So apart from the engine that was hugely expensive, tyres, yeah, they were the next big thing that went onto this car, another 10,000 credits. It's quite expensive up until this point. Race brakes, race weight reduction, race suspension, were all of the handling parts that I wanted to put on this car. And then just to kind of finish up the PI, we put street pistons in it just to give it a little bit more power. And I had 1 PI left, and I was trying to find something that would fit within 1 PI, and I couldn't. All the drive lines didn't want to fit, the clutch, all of the flywheel, all put it up by 2 PI. I ended up going for some wheels that were sort of very slightly lighter, that kept it within the PI limit. The wheels, though, cost 3,500 credits. So you could get this car for a little bit less if you weren't worried about that 1 PI. Either way, the overall cost of the car was 73,450 credits. For a B-class car, that's not too bad. Also, this car is really nice to drive. I kept it 4-wheel drive for a couple of reasons, because first of all, 4-wheel drive cars are quite easy to drive on Forza 5. Also, it's quite a lot of money to convert the drivetrain. So for a budget car, I decided to leave it as 4-wheel drive. And it's a really nice car to drive. It's so easy to drive compared to everything else that we have here today. This thing is incredibly easy. It gets stopped very well, it gets turned very well. The downsides are it doesn't have that much top speed. It doesn't really like the long straights. Because I only put 1 engine bit in it, I think it only has 330 something horsepower. It's not very quick in a straight line. It'll get, well, yeah, only. When you play racing games, it kind of skews the sense of power for cars. But yeah, it sort of gets to about 160, but that's sort of at a push, and it kind of runs out of steam when it gets there. Daniel, would you like to tell the nice ladies and gentlemen what you did by accident with your, what was supposed to be your first car?
Yes, basically what it was, Alex said obviously B-class, as he explained in the video. For some reason, that piece of information I felt was irrelevant, and then built an A-class Mercedes.
So Daniel was doing lap times like 5 seconds faster, and we were wondering
really
how
quick.
everything was going. Yeah. So the Mercedes didn't quite pan out, as the engine made that A-class, I think, on its own, didn't it?
Yeah, the engine on its own made it A-class. So I had to rethink. I still went for a German car, though. I have gone for a BMW M3. This is the I may have flipped the wall a little bit there. You'll see a lot of that, don't worry. Yeah, this is the E30 model. Probably, I would say it's probably my favourite BM, M3, the generation.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that one.
It's just such a good engine, such a good car as well. But yeah, so yeah, after the little catastrophe, I went back. This was, I built this car in about 5 minutes. The car was 19,000, so the car was pretty cheap. The engine, same as that, it was 26,000, and it is a 5.7 litre V8. I think it is just a generic V8 engine that they use.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually you didn't get the German, because the Mercedes has a different V8 that goes in it.
Yeah.
I presume it's a German V8 that goes in that one.
Of some
That's
sort,
very
yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, so yeah, 26 grand, that is quite a hefty chunk of money. I put some turbos in it because I decided, why not? So I put some turbos in it. Again, they cost near enough 2 grand. Aero was 4 grand, so I got full, I got the aero parts. The tyres, again, were 10 grand. The wheels, I got the Team Dynamics Sport wheels. They were 2,600. I've got every single handling part you could want, because I don't think I build cars anymore without... You can't really. If you want to build a fast car, you have to have handling parts.
Not on Forza 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Forza 5, it's just so much harder to control if you don't have the handling parts. So yeah, they've all done. Diff, clutch, gearbox, driveline, again, they all came to 9,500. So in the end, my car cost 85,650 credits. So a little bit more expensive, but still under the 100 grand budget, which we would assume would be sort of the really high-end limit. So yeah, it's 325 brakes, so again, near enough the same power. It's got 350 pounds-feet of torque though, so it's pretty rapid on the straights. It does top out at about 165, so I think it was about the same as the Escort, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit quicker, I would imagine.
Yeah, a little bit quicker, but overall it's a really nice car to drive actually. A little bit I did get a little bit sideways. I don't think I had enough rear downforce, so it just went a little bit sideways, especially going into coming out of the slower corners. Just the power overweighed it. But yeah, it was a good car. I was impressed with it.
Up next we have my
Wooden Honda.
It's back. It's here.
It has made a return.
I was looking for another car I could stick a V8 engine in, and the S2000 was one of them. And I thought this would be quite a good choice of a vehicle. Car itself, 28 grand. Again, engine, the same engine at 26,000. Race tyres are fairly essential, really, for a serious lap time. On this car, it's another 10 grand. Now, I wanted to kind of build this car to be a little bit quicker on a straight line. I'd seen that the Escort had struggled with the straights. The BMW was a little bit quicker, so I wanted to get a car that was sort of that was stronger in the straight line. But of course, you've got to remember to keep something for the corners. I didn't put any weight reduction, as this is a fairly light car, fairly good handling car. I did have race suspension and race brakes put on. Then it was sport camshaft and street exhaust that filled up the rest of the PI, but that was quite a big horsepower gain. I can't remember how much power this thing had. I didn't have aero on it or tyre width upgrades, which made this car terrifying. It was not an easy car to drive, this one. It was
especially
very
around this sort of section.
No, this bit was kind of scary. I mean, that time there, it was going sideways up the first section almost. Yeah, this was not nice to drive particularly. Not as nice as the Escort, that is for sure. Got it very close to the wall. Yeah, it's a tough car to drive, this one. If you're not running sort of high downforce, if you're not running wide tyres, rear-wheel drive cars do tend to be quite slidey. I mean, this is a pretty challenging track for a car. I may have taken the wing mirror off on the wall. I don't quite know how I got away with that one. But yeah, this is a tough track to drive a car like this around at the best of times. And yeah, straight line speed was better though. Straight line speed was an improvement. It was getting to sort of 170-ish, I think, by the end of the braking zone, which is useful.
Pretty quick.
This is an odd track. I love Bathurst, but it is a really tough track building a car for, because there are two humongous straights which you want the straight line speed for, and then you've got the really tight twiddly bit at the top of the mountain which you want the handling for, and in B class you're going to have to compromise a little bit. So yeah, this one good on the straights, a little bit more challenging through the corners, in fact quite a lot more challenging through the corners. I think if you didn't have a budget, you would end up going for aero and wider tyres over some of the engine parts that I put on it. But still, yeah, it was okay. It just took a little bit more getting used to. As far as overall price of this car, it went to 71,800 credits.
Yeah, that's right. So this is my second car. As you can see, it is a blue Mazda MX5. Generation
very
1.
blue. In fact,
it is very blue. I don't know. I like this colour. It was a nice colour.
It is. It's quite a nice colour. I would agree on that one.
Yeah, it's very bold. But yeah, this is called the Miata on the game, but it's just the Generation 1 that we know it in the UK. Yeah, this was again just a random choice. I just happened to look through, and I think it was Alex that recommended. So, oh, you might be able to put a V8 in that. Had a look. You can. Fantastic. So again, it's the same 5.7 litre V8. So no change there. I didn't put any upgrades to the engine at all, so it is running the same power as the BM, because again that didn't have any power upgrades at all, but it is lighter by 300 pounds near enough. So it's quite a bit, it's a little bit quicker on the straight, which is always handy. This had everything, the handling wise, the brakes, the suspension, it was all race bar the weight reduction, which was a sport rate reduction. Because I built it, and I didn't put a race gearbox in, and came to the straight and I topped out about 140. So I went back, put a race gearbox in, which meant I had to get rid of the weight reduction. So yeah, drivetrain's got a race gearbox and a race diff, and that's it for drivetrain. Tyres, it has only got the race tyres. I have used the standard wheels, standard tyre widths, everything else, which was it was okay. It wasn't, to be fair, it didn't feel as slidey as the BM, which I found surprising. It felt a little bit more planted.
MX5, they're always
really good handling cars. Yeah, so it was more controlled and just more poised in the corners than the BM, which obviously helped in the handling section, especially the tight windy bit of the track. Aero, it's got street front, and it has got the Forza rear wing, which looks stupid, but I had to run it anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This car cost me 63,200 credits, so quite cheap actually.
It's a cheap one.
It is a very cheap one.
Good going.
I tell you now, like I said, the car was 13 grand anyway, whereas the BM was 19, and it's just little things like that that make it just a little bit more expensive. But I really like this car. It's just such a good fun car to drive. Whether it's F class, S class, it's just no matter what PI or how much power it's got, it's just still a really good handling car. I love it. Oh, good God.
Speaking of power, for a bit of fun, since I did the kind of race build on this car, since it was B-Class, I thought, I'll give it a go. Not really a budget car, this one. I don't know how much it cost, but I would imagine it's well over 100,000.
Oh, kill the cameraman.
It went a little bit wide. So yeah, this is my Chevrolet El Camino. It's got a 7.4 litre V8. It's running the original engine. It's supercharged. Got 568 horsepower. It is by far the most powerful car
the supercharger sounds nice.
It does sound pretty damn incredible. 631 torques. It's pretty quick, this car. And considering what it is, it was probably the second or third best handling car here. Between this and the MX5, I didn't drive the MX5, I just watched the replays. Both of these two looked around the same sort of level of slidiness, if that makes sense. It's a rare thing that I say an El Camino is as good handling as an MX5. It doesn't happen very often, but this wasn't built to a budget. In fact, no, I don't think I've ever said that before, and I don't think I ever will again. But no, this car is very good handling because I wasn't working with a budget when I built it. So it's got race tyres, it's got massive wide tyres. In fact, it's got huge rear tyres on this car. Running rear downforce, roll cage, pretty much every single handling part is in this car that you could fit in. And then I added on superchargers and a little bit of other engine parts to make up the power. If you want to see the full build, you can go and watch the build video of this car. It has also been tuned a little bit, but sort of to my level of tuning, so it is a bit better through the corners. I was pushing my luck a little bit with the El Camino. I think all the cars bump the wall through there.
Yeah, it's really hard not to.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that it's hard not to, it's that every time you push, you want to try and take a little bit more speed, you want to brake less, or you want to try and take it flat out, and you are going to bump the wall when you're trying to sort of see what your car can do. The Escort was the closest that came to going flat out through that corner. If I could get the line absolutely perfect, I kept thinking I could do it, and it would just scrape the wall. So the Escort was so close to it. El Camino couldn't. The Honda was terrifying, and I don't think the BM or Mazda
BM couldn't do it. I was too scared. The Mazda nearly, but again, I was just too scared to do it.
I love that corner. It is a fantastic corner. It's utterly terrifying, but it is an excellent corner.
In every way.
Yeah. The El Camino on the straight struggled a little bit through here is also terrifying as you flat out, but the car's it wants to kind of wander off towards the grass, and getting it stopped is a big heavy car. It's like 3,200 pounds. Might be the most powerful, but it's also the heaviest. So yeah, the El Camino did struggle a little bit of getting stopped. Anyway, all the cars got around the track. We each did 8 laps, I think, with all of the cars, just to kind of have a chance to get used to it. Takes a long time blooming doing 8 laps with these cars. It's like 20 minutes a car. We have the fastest lap times for the cars. So in first place it was the Honda S2000 with a 1:21.992. I don't know how that car went round there that quickly. I'm not entirely sure.
It was just quick on the straights. I think that's just what helped it.
I think this week it's a hard car to drive, but it was a fairly decent lap time. And then that was also ended up like 200 and something on the leaderboard. That's a pretty good time.
214th, I think.
For that car. Yeah, I was pretty impressed at how well that car did. In second place, it was the BMW with a 122.3.
222.3.
Again, that's 222. Yeah, so I get confused.
Bloody hell, 123. Jesus.
That would be impressive. You'd be like flying a rocket ship.
Formula One car.
I'm so used to doing lap times in 1 minute. So I never do long tracks. That's why it is. So yeah, BMW did pretty damn well. The Escort came in third with a 222.6. Not very much between the Escort and the BMW. I think if we ran this on a shorter track or a much shorter track, the Escort would probably do very well.
I think the four-wheel drive just help. Yeah, the four-wheel drive will help it on a shorter track.
Yeah, the straights just sort of killed it a little bit. The MX5 came in fourth. I think, yeah, probably a little bit of lack of speed in the MX5 meant it struggled. Again, that would probably come higher up. It did a 223.2, I think, for the MX5. Yeah, it's just the lack of straight line speed really with that car. And the El Camino, that was last, but it was fairly respectable with the 223.6.
That's not bad, to be honest.
For an El Camino, only a little bit off an MX5 at Bathurst, I'd say it was a pretty successful challenge. It was a pretty successful challenge.
I'd tell you now, to be in the top 500, I mean, like, I think the BM was in the top 500 as well as your one. The Mazda, I think, just was out of it. I think it's in the top 1,000 though. They all are, so it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, these cars. I mean, none of them were sort of specifically highly tuned. It was just built and put out and given 8 laps to try and learn the track with the cars. But yeah, it was.
We've been successful.
We have been successful. We've built some successful race cars, and you don't need a huge amount of money to go fairly quickly. All of these cars, well, excluding the El Camino, that was just a bit of fun. All of these cars were under 80,000, or just over 80,000, I think, for the BM. But all of these cars were under 100,000. Probably a better way of putting it. And yeah, they are great fun to race. Honda is terrifyingly scary, but yeah, you don't have to have a huge amount of money to have a nice or half decent race car. I think that was a successful conclusion, and yeah, we didn't crash too many cars, apart from your Mercedes that nobody ever saw, that you'd utterly destroyed.
That was wrecked, properly wrecked.
Yeah, you may have had a big crash with that one. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you have challenges and stuff you would like to see us investigate on Forza 5 or on any other racing game, please do let us know in the comment section. We will have a look through, and our favourites will be in a video at some point. However, until next time, goodbye.
Bye.